Equity Mate.
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.
Equity Mate.
Welcome to another episode of Equity Mates, a podcast where we break down the world of investing from beginning to dividend so that you can hopefully make some returns. My name's Bryce, and as always, I'm joined by my equity buddy, Ren. How are you going, bro?
I'm good, Bryce. I'm just laughing at that bird that's going off in your background and all the rain.
Oh, mate. It's a situation over here. Absolutely bucketing down.
The complaints about our audio will continue coming in quick and fast.
People probably think I'm sitting outside under an umbrella in my back garden.
I'd like to say that it's nice and quiet down here in Melbourne, and all the background noises are up in Sydney where Bryce is. Oh,
absolutely, Ren. It is bucketing down outside, and unfortunately there is not much that I can do about it right now. But anyway, let's move on. We are at the end of our first week of Australia's Next Top Trader, Ren.
We are. What a week.
What a week. An epic week. Both for us in terms of getting this thing up and running, and we've got, a huge amount, an unexpected amount of beginner investors who have placed their first trade for the very first time in their trading journey, investing journey. So that's super exciting for us. We've also got some traders and investors that have been doing so for a while and are honing their skills. So this episode, Ren, we will go through a few of the highlights from the week, a bit of a market update. We'll review how both you and I performed with our trades and look at some stocks that have both performed poorly and also ones that have performed well. So, Ren, let's get stuck in.
All right. Well, do you want to kick us off? How behind are we the winner or the leader at this point?
Oh, mate. I'm down in. I'm coming about 300 odd.
Yeah, I'm at least positive after the first week. You need to lift a little bit.
I'm also positive.
Are you?
Yeah, let me just...
Well, you've got a positive attitude, but I don't know if your account is positive.
Oh, well, we've actually got two accounts looking at this. So the one that I'm trading on, I'm actually 0.12% down.
Yeah.
So we can say that's pretty flat.
Or we could say it's down.
We can say it's flat. And I'm just looking at you, Ren, and you're performing much better. You're up 1.7%, currently 116th.
Yeah, but it's all relative because there's only one person winning this trip to New York, and I might be up, but the competition leader after week one is up a little bit more than me.
Yes. James M543 is his referral code from Monash University. He is up a whopping 23.84% in just 5 days.
Yeah,
that is a massive return. Yeah, huge return. And I was lucky enough to reach out to James during the week on Friday and pick his brains a little about, was this luck? Was there any sort of thought that went behind the stock that he picked? Was it one stock? Did he go all in? So we'll reveal some of his strategies in a little bit, but just to continue with the leaderboard, our top 10 have done incredibly well. Number 2, Chad G834, he's up 16.84%. And then coming in at third is Rajipan 295 from Australian Catholic University, and he's up 15.26%. So the top 3 have smashed it out in 5 days, and our top 10 are really running away with the competition. So they're putting themselves in a very strong position to be on their way to New York. But as we know, Ren, the markets can turn quickly, so 5 weeks to go. It'll be really interesting to see how these guys now manage their trades, I guess, over the next sort of 5 weeks.
Yeah, and I think the thing for anyone who's feeling a little bit disheartened is literally in 1 week someone made almost 25%. So, if you've done as well as Bryce has in the first week, you've still got plenty of time. And all you need is a couple of good days, and if you pick the right stock and you make 20%, then it's game on. So don't feel like because you didn't have a good first week, you can't make it.
Yeah, absolutely, Ren. Getting this far is I think the most important part. If you've made a trade and it hasn't done so well, look, you've at least taken the first step, which is often the hardest when it comes to starting to invest. So congratulations on that. And as you said, Ren, anything can change. So before we jump into how we have performed over the last week in a bit more detail, Ren, do you want me to just share some of the strategies that our top 10 have shared with us?
Yeah.
Yep. So briefly, James, who's coming in at number 1, without revealing his stock, because I don't want to give away his full strategy, but James has invested in the cannabis industry, which was recognized by Matt in last week's What's Hot and What's Not as a industry of strength at the moment. So he did a bit of research into the cannabis industry, found a stock that he really liked based on what their expectations were in terms of producing cannabis over the next sort of short period of time and what their expected earnings growth were. And he looked into the industry overall and feels like that it's a bit of a winner at this point in time. And he decided to go all in on this one stock, and very lucky for James that when he got in on that on Monday, the stock continued to rise last week upwards of 22%. So that's why he's sitting in number 1 at the moment. And I think the next thing for James will be to really manage that trade, and I wonder if he's going to sell or if he's going to ride it out. So that's a bit of insight from our leader at the moment. And so we'll keep you posted with some of the strategies that our top 10 are doing over the next week as well. We'll put them out in some email and over Instagram. So congrats, James, and there's a bit of insight.
Yeah, nice one. So from the excellent to the not so excellent, let's talk about what we've done, because I don't think we've had a chat about our respective strategies offline. So I'm interested to know. Do you want to kick it off? What did you do?
So I went all in on one stock to begin with, which was the 2 ETFs. Oh, sorry. It was an ETF to start with, the ProShares Ultra Pro Russell 2000. I've been watching this one for a while and it's been performing pretty well. So I thought I would jump on and see what happens. And what the Russell 2000 does, it seeks daily investment returns that correspond. So it's a leveraged ETF, corresponds to 3 times the daily performance of the Russell 2000 index. Now, for those who are unaware, the Russell is just another type of index. The Russell 3000 essentially encompasses all the stocks in the United States, but the Russell 2000 is the bottom 2000 stocks. So you take away those large cap, heavily weighted stocks, and you get a bit of access to the smaller growth stocks. In my opinion. So I went all in on that, Ren. But then I also thought, I think the NASDAQ, and it's still looking reasonably good at the moment. There's a bit of a mini run going. So I sold half of my ProShares and went 50% in on a leveraged NASDAQ TQQQ just so I can get some exposure to that. Okay, Ren, so that's my strategy. I think I'm going to sit on both of these for the next little while. Both of them are leveraged, and as we said, risky doing so because they can turn really quickly as well, and I can lose out just as much as I can gain. But I'm going to see how the market plays out over the next week. It was a strong week for the market, so I think I'm backing it in for another strong week, and hopefully want to ride it up. What was your strategy?
So mine was a little bit different to yours. I picked an individual stock, and so as you know, we talk about, we look for ones that have a bottom left to top right chart and a reason for their share price to go up in the short term of the trading competition. So retail in America has been surprising the market. So Walmart and Target had surprisingly good results, and Dollar Tree, a discount store, had a good report. Well, it had a report that the market liked, and its stock jumped up as well. So that I was sort of looking in that industry. I thought that there might be another earnings surprise coming, and I came across this company, Dollar General, who was up 11.7% year to date to Wednesday night. So I got in on them at the start of the week. They went up marginally. And then they reported on Thursday morning, American time. And unfortunately, they didn't surprise the market in the same way. Gross margins fell and earnings were less than expected. And the stock fell 8% on Thursday morning.
Oh,
luckily
damn.
for me, though, I had a stop loss on. So while I was asleep on Thursday into Friday, the stock fell 8%. The stop loss executed the sell, and I locked in a marginal profit increase. So I think that my competition portfolio is up like 1%.
Nice, Ren. So what did you decide to set your stop loss at? Just for those out there, we talk about stop losses a lot. Obviously, this is a perfect example of the benefits of a stop loss. How did you know what to set your stop loss at? Was it a particular percentage or?
I'd love to say there was. No, I just put it a little bit. So it went up a little bit, and then I just put the stop loss in above where my purchase price was.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So not a lot of science to it, but definitely can understand the importance of it after not picking the right stock, but not getting burnt for it. So I'm still in the competition.
Nice, Ren.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm 100% cash at the end of the week, but over the weekend I've found 2 other companies that I am going to take a punt on, and I've put those trades in to be executed on Monday. So
nice.
We'll do it all over again this week.
So you will not reveal what they are until end of next week?
No, we'll see how they go. We'll see how they go.
Okay.
I got to say though, like for me, it is a bit of a lucky dip, I think. There's not a lot of science to some of my picks, I think.
All right, Ren. So we have some stocks that went well and stocks that didn't go so well. Some that are hot and some that weren't so hot. I know you've got a couple there ready to rumble. So do you want to share those with us?
Yeah, well, so broadly, markets had a pretty good week. I think people that were paying close attention would see that the S&P 500 was up 2.9% and the Nasdaq was up 3.8%. And they all had, some of their best weeks in a while. So, good week for markets overall. Good week for us to start our competition in, I guess. I guess the biggest story of the week was Boeing, and everyone heard about all their 737 MAX 8 planes being grounded. And the share price was down, as you would expect. I think it was down about 10% for the week. Interestingly, though, Boeing is still up. Even after a shocking week, is still up about 15% for the year. So has still done very well for itself, and it wouldn't surprise me if it bounced back over the coming weeks. Another company that was pretty notable this week was Tesla. Did you see the Model Y?
No.
So Tesla announced their new, I think it's like an SUV or like SUV crossover or something. But anyway, their new car, a Model Y, and the stock fell 5% on its unveiling. So not the best. Interesting side note about the Model Y. I think it's got a full glass roof, like a sunroof, but the whole roof.
Wow.
Don't you reckon that would get really
surely you could
hot
block it
in
off?
summer?
Yeah, because what if it's California?
There's got to be a way to cover it.
I'm sure Elon's thought about that.
Yeah. I mean, I reckon it would be pretty sick if it was raining and like you had the full glass roof going.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would cook in summer, like parked in the sun.
Shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so obviously investors feeling the same as me, and the stock fell 5%. So a couple of notable names falling last week. I'll get onto the more positive side of the ledger. So chip makers had a really good week. So Broadcom, which is one of the biggest chip makers, was up 8.2% after better than expected.
Do you mean like kettle chips and Smith's chips and what chips?
Yeah. That's it. So microchips for computers is what these chip makers are producing, and there's a few big ones in America, and Broadcom is one of the biggest. So their stock was up 8.2% after better than expected first quarter earnings for 2019, and announcing that it would return $12 billion of money to shareholders through dividends and buybacks. That's a heap of money to be returning. But it had such a good report that all the other chip makers sort of were taken along for the ride. Intel was up 1.7% and Nvidia was up 2.6%. So a pretty good week if you were in the in tech stocks and in chip makers. Yeah,
well, one of our top 10 actually. I won't reveal who just because I don't want to ruin their strategy, but they actually hold a position in NVIDIA and have subsequently shot up to the top 10 on the leaderboard.
There you go. Can it continue this week?
Good question, Ren.
Yeah, well, that is the question. And then another company that had a good week, but I haven't really looked into why, was Apple, up 7.6%. So if you held tech this week, you were probably pretty happy. Although if you held Adobe, you wouldn't be. So not all tech did well, but a lot of it did. They reported and they disappointed and they fell a little bit. So they were one of the companies I was looking at last week. Glad I didn't get into them, although the company I did pick did pretty poorly as well. So you
win some, you lose some, Ren.
Yeah. All right. So, any Any what's hot, what's not? Any thoughts on the market for this week or last week?
My thoughts are that I hope it continues in the way that it did this week, which was, as we've already discussed, a reasonably strong week. Both my stocks are in favour of a strong market, both leveraged as well. So from my point of view, I'm hoping that can continue. What about from your perspective, Ren?
No, not a lot. I think the Fed announced interest rates from memory next week, so that might change some things. There was a lot of positive sentiment out of China because of their central bank really getting in and supporting the market. So potentially some of the Chinese companies might be interested. But really, this is a conversation for Matt more than me. All
right. Well, Ren, we've got a week 2 just about to kick off. Kicks off tonight.
Yeah, nice one. Hopefully we both have a bit of a better week this week and can be crowing about.
I back us in. We'll be up in the top 10 soon. Don't worry.
I don't know if I do, but I'm enjoying the ride. So
exactly,
that's
Ren. Exactly. All right. Well, we will leave it there, Ren. We'll chat during the week as the leaderboard changes, and we will then revisit it again this time next week.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Equity Mates and the people appearing in this program may have positions in the companies mentioned. This is general advice only. Please speak to a financial professional to understand how it may pertain to your individual situation.
Equity Mates.